Hello? The Build Show today. We're talking shipping containers. Check this out. This is pretty nice for a shipping container, y'all. We're at Bob's Containers here in Austin, Texas. Bob built a heck of a container, I gotta say, with some cool features. Not only that, we can show you how they're actually built down to the bones. Today's Build Show at Bob's. Let's get going. Okay, y'all, I have some familiarity with shipping containers because we actually have one on our hunting ranch, but it is nothing like this. I mean, look at this kitchen. We've got some really nice hardwood looking floors. We've got a bathroom that looks like it could be out of a really nice, well-built custom home. This is the Porter edition, Bob's Shipping Containers. They're actually shipping these all over the US. And this is a more expensive model. This is gonna run like in the 80s. But like some of the other ones we looked at, in the 30s, they're Model A, I forget what they call it, the Archer, that was like 30 to maybe 40K. These are pretty nice. Master bedrooms down here. We've got a mini split head, we've got full plumbing, we've got full electrical. I mean, this lives like a real house. Pretty impressive. But I know what you're here for, right? You're here to see how they're built. Let's meet you over at an empty container. We're gonna show you the process. Okay, so here's a container under construction, but before we go in, check this out. I didn't realize how beefy these things are. Look, you can actually stack 67,000 pounds inside this when it's making a trip over the sea. And you can stack them so high, this will hold 423,000 pounds, just shy of 500,000 pounds. Now this is a new shipping container. This one was born last year, 2021. They also have some used ones that have gone on more than one trip over the ocean. But this is what you think of when you think of a shipping container, right? It's got some wood floors. I don't know how thick this is, but it's pretty beefy plywood. And then you've got these corrugated walls. The walls are actually a little thick, a little thinner than I thought. This is actually only 14 gauge steel, but because of the corrugations, a lot of strength. And these shipping containers on the ends have these really big pillars that hold the massive weight. But look at this framing. I mean, this looks like traditional framing for a house. Ceiling joists 2x4s, walls are 2x4s. Bob tells me he just buys 8-foot 2x4s, and that's why he's stacking the triple bottom plate just to make up the difference. It saves time, and even though it's a little extra material, it actually saves him on labor and mistakes. I thought that was kind of smart. But you can see they're wiring it like a typical house. PEX plumbing like a normal house. He's got a bunch of pocket doors. They're heated and cooled with mini splits, so there's your copper wires for that. And by the time he's done on these, he can heat and cool the entire unit with just one mini split, one 1-ton unit, 12,000 BTUs. But it's pretty straightforward on the inside. I like how simple this is. This plan looks like it's got a bathroom in the center and a master down here. And you can see that copper wire is coming out. They've got grommets for everything when it goes through the metal. And then before they sheetrock it or before they put shiplap in, they're going to use closed cell foam. That's definitely the best choice for a container. I was really happy to see that they're closed cell foaming these. So closed cell foam at 4 inches thick, you actually have a pretty good R value here, and it's going to help with the rigidity. Same with the ceiling, you can do closed cell in the ceiling. And then underneath these, I don't know if you've ever looked underneath before, but if you were to drop down underneath and look underneath this, there's these, I think they're called purlins, and they're on 16-inch on centers. That's basically the floor joists that are running on both sides. And then they screw this plywood down. So you can see the underside of the plywood when you go downstairs. So I was happy to hear that they're closed cell foaming the underside as well. And that's gonna help seal up like where they've got a plumbing vent or anything coming down through the bottom of these. But it's actually a pretty straightforward build. I was really impressed. And for Bob to build these and sell them in the 30s for some of these basic units and up from there, pretty cool. Let's hop outside and look how the windows and doors are installed. Okay guys, let's check out windows. This was one of my concerns when I was thinking about these. The way they do it is they overcut the windows by, it looks like 2 inches, and this looks like a 2x3 tube steel that they picture frame around. They solid weld that, so now we've got a good air seal, bug seal, water seal around that steel frame. And then check out that head flashing. That's the beefiest head flashing I've ever seen. solid welded. It looks like maybe a 4-inch projection, something like that. So it's gonna keep that water from dripping onto the window. Then they're just using some basic vinyl double glazed windows. But what's interesting is they're not attaching the windows to the wood like I thought they might be. They're actually attaching them to the steel. They're using a self-tapping sheet metal screw through the jamb of the window, and then they're caulking it tight. So pretty straightforward, pretty basic. And it's also gonna help maintain the structural integrity. Now there were some beefier cutouts, or bigger cutouts rather than this window. This looks like maybe a, I don't know, 4x3 window or 5x3 window. But some of the bigger cutouts, Bob was telling me that they're having to do a little bit of reinforcing. But these shipping containers, because they're so strong to begin with, lends to some serious, coastal applications, high winds, that sort of thing. If you were just to sit one of these out on your property, you could withstand up to 150 mile an hour wind without even doing anything, without even anchoring it down. Now these guys are really kind of focused on building, and you would, or a builder would, take it over and hook up water, electric, and sewer or septic on one of these. But I'd recommend putting a real foundation in. When we set ours down in South Texas on our hunting property, we just set it on some concrete blocks, and we saw some pretty good settlement within some short period of time. So if I were to do it over again, I'd make some kind of a structural slab, put some in-bed plates at the corners, and you could actually, on the corners of this, weld this thing to a slab, and that would be the best long-term solution to make sure this thing doesn't move. Because once, like any house, once it goes out of level, your windows and doors are gonna stick. They're not gonna work well. You wanna keep this thing nice and level for the lifetime. But with that spray foam, with the steel, it should be pretty efficient. I think these actually would be pretty comfortable. Bob told me that he's really trying to keep all the utilities, the compressor, the panels, everything that happens utility-wise on the outside at the very ends. That way when they're shipping these, they're not worried about something ripping off or being an oversized load. But this client wanted a staircase to get up top. There's a bunch of really cool rooftop decks. So check out how he built this. This is pretty cool. Well done, Bob. So they'll strap that down while they're running down the highway, and now they won't have any extra width. That was pretty cool. Well done, Bob. Good craftsmanship, brother. Check out their website for more. By the way, this is not a paid video. That we're just trying to support another local Austin business. Bob and his team reached out to us and said, hey, why don't you guys come by and see what we're doing? And we checked it out. I was super impressed. So Bob's Containers here in Austin, Texas. Now guys, if you're not currently a Build Show subscriber, hit that subscribe button below. We've got new content here every Tuesday and every Friday. And oh, by the way, sign up for our newsletter in the description below, because over on buildshownetwork.com, we're publishing 10 new videos a week, and every Friday my podcast comes out. Guys, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.